The next thing is delivery points. Now, I don't want to focus on this too much because you don't actually want to be thinking about it. It's good to kind of have it in the back of your minds. So the first one is eye contact. You don't necessarily want to be looking down the lens of your camera. You want it around about 80% is the sweet spot. Most people kind of say your eye contact needs to be 100% fixated on the camera. The thing is, when you're staring down the lens 100% of the time, it starts to come across very intense in a very awkward way. So we want to avoid that. So think about it, right? It's very natural in a conversation for you not to always be looking and staring and making eye contact. It's kind of like you're collecting your ideas and you're looking away and then you're looking back at the lens again. It's very similar to how you would have a conversation with a person, right? You wouldn't stare down and look at them in a very intense way. So a great way to think of it is as resting your eyes on the lens and looking at the lens. They're two very different things. Looking is a lot more intense and it's almost like a stare. So we don't want to be doing that. The next thing is hand gestures and body language. So in general, it's always good to kind of be open in your body language. And naturally, so many of us kind of have this hunched over position. And that's because we're working on laptops, computers, whatever it is. And what we want to try and do is open that position up. In a hunched over position, your voice doesn't project as good or as clearly as you want it to. A really great way to kind of overcome this is just to stretch out prior to speaking to camera. The hands are a great way to express yourself. Naturally, your hands will move as you speak, and you always want to ensure that your hands are actually visible to the camera. So psychologically, our innate survival instinct is to ensure that the person that we're communicating with isn't holding a weapon. So when talking to camera, having your hands visible and open, it's a great way of being more welcoming. There's also the comfort aspect. If you're not comfortable in your settings, surroundings, and environments of where you're going to talk to camera, then there's no point recording. So being comfortable in where you're recording relates massively to the state of mind. If you're not comfortable, you will not have a great state of mind. So momentum, on the other hand, is not necessarily related directly to video recording. Rather, it's more of the embodiment of the whole process itself. The idea of this workshop is for you to move from day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 progressively. Ideally, you want to gather momentum in the work that you're doing. A great way to look at this is, right, if you're from the copywriting, e-com, marketing, bootcamp campuses, what you'll realize is when you get that first win, you start to gain momentum and you start pushing harder. And what happens is you'll get another win and it starts to multiply. And that is because momentum is on your side. You are now putting in even harder work because you're seeing the fruits of your labor. So in a similar way to this bootcamp, day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you will see the differences in how you talk to camera. So keep that in mind as you progress through this workshop.